Hello and welcome. I'm Rusty Humphries. He is Greg Kelley, and this is the World Mission Update. Following the adventures of the leader of the finest missionary group anywhere in the world, World Mission. You can find them at worldmission.cc. Greg Kelley, the fearless leader.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back from your vacation.
Hey, thanks, Rusty. It's great to be back with you. Michigan vacations in the summer. Primo, you can't beat it. People are always dogging on us for our December, January, February, and they kind of got a point.
Okay.
But nothing beats Michigan in June, July, and August. So we're taking in every second of it.
Nice. And how is the coronavirus up there? You had your mask on a minute ago, so you're in your office. You're doing the whole mask thing.
We sure are. Social distancing, the mask. I think right now our newest executive order is no social groups larger than 10 people.
Wow.
So,
and that's around the world, or just in the U.S. right now?
If you come to Michigan.
Okay.
If you come to Michigan. Yeah.
Oh, that's a Michigan law.
Michigan specific.
How about, as the global world leader of a missionary group, do you have rules like that going on around the world?
Well, there's definitely social distancing going on everywhere, but a lot of the countries, Rusty, are like shut down entirely. Like when you and I were in Bangladesh and Nepal, we were right on the cusp of the sort of the launching of a whole new world, literally, that we would be experiencing here now for 4 months. So these countries, they are shut down, and it is almost impossible even to travel anywhere. They just don't want you coming out at all.
Is Bangladesh shut down?
Bangladesh is still shut down for the most part. I mean, I think some of these countries are starting to ease some restrictions, but, I haven't been able to make any travel arrangements because it's so unpredictable. If you get there, are they going to put you in a 14-day quarantine? What does that quarantine look like? So it's very difficult for us to do any travel. So all of our traveling is just from the national partners on the local level.
It's interesting, as I think back when we were in Bangladesh, I was in a different hotel than you, because I chickened out at one point and could not take it anymore. Totally my fault. I was a wuss. I'll be the first one to admit it.
I didn't bring that up.
I'm going to totally bring it up. Anyway, but that hotel, this was before, the day we were supposed to leave and go to Nepal was the day that Europe got shut down by, Trump shut down travel to Europe. And Tom Hanks had acknowledged he had the coronavirus. Then they shut down the NHL. Then they shut down the NBA. It was a crazy day. And the one thing I'll say, though, was that hotel that I stayed in, they were the first ones to start checking temperatures and making you wear a mask. So they were a couple of months. They kicked in quickly there as opposed to what happened here.
Yeah, that's where I got my daily coffee. I went to Rusty's Hotel, and we'd go in there and get coffee in the little lobby area. But yeah, that was kind of like a shocker to us, right? Because we're walking in there, and they had the little temperature gauge, and you're kind of like, okay, what's going on?
Right.
So new to us, and now that's the normal thing. Every morning I drop my son off for driver's training. Before he can go into his class, they're checking his temperature. It's a very normal thing in all kinds of different places. So. Yeah. And
God willing, this one isn't going to last much longer. Let's talk about a place where it's, we can complain all we want about wearing masks and feeling sorry for ourselves, but places like India where there are real problems going on right now. What's happening in India right now?
Right now we're right in the middle of the monsoon season. So the monsoon season starts around May, June, and it goes all the way through September at varying degrees. It's kind of like our hurricane season, I guess. That would be the closest thing that we could have to compare to, except, when hurricane season, we don't know if we're going to get we know hurricanes will come, but whether one is going to be a direct hit on landfall is another matter, or to what extent of it. Well, the difference is in the monsoon season in Southeast Asia. So I'm talking about Bhutan, I'm talking about Pakistan, Bangladesh, where we were at, India. They get it always. It's just a matter of, are they going to get 20 inches of rain? Are they going to get 50 inches of rain? It's literally devastating. And then, so what it'll do a lot of times is it starts in the Himalaya mountains and areas like Nepal, and then all of that water rushes down, and it just crushes. They say Bangladesh, a third of Bangladesh right now is underwater.
You're kidding.
1/3 of the country. Yeah.
Where we were, a third of that's underwater.
third of that country is underwater.
Wow.
And so, World Mission is very aware of these kind of things, Rusty. There's a phrase that goes something like preaching the gospel at all times and use words if necessary. We don't necessarily abide by that or believe in that idea because the gospel by very nature is about words. I mean, Jesus said, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved. I mean, that's the prayer of salvation. So the gospel in itself is intended to be verbal. But we do believe in this. We do believe that there's an opportunity that we as followers of Jesus have to respond in deed without our mouths, just by that expression, and going into a place like Bangladesh that's a third underwater right now because they are dealing with, they're losing everything. And we're hearing that all across India has been devastated right now from the monsoon. So that we really want to draw attention to our World Mission Update family and say, hey, they're really struggling right now in this very moment. There's families who are losing everything.
Well, we have some pictures here. This first one is, I don't know, is it? It's a flooding with some huts or something in the background there.
Yeah, the national partner said to us, the quote specifically was they lost everything, their homes, their cattle, everything. And so what you're seeing here are pictures of villages and houses that are just totally underwater. All of their possessions have been destroyed by that, and the water is kind of receding, and then rains will come again. So they might have a day without rain, but then 3 more days in a row with heavy rains. And sometimes it doesn't even rain right in their area, but in this one particular village that some of these photos are from, it's called Madhubadani.
Exactly.
It's the name of the village.
Madhubadani.
And there's 3 rivers, Rusty, that come together. They converge right around there. And that village has really been sort of ground zero of the devastation. It's in the northern part of India is most affected by the monsoons, much more so than the southern part because of the runoff from the Himalaya mountains. And so these villages, people, the majority of people are losing everything. And when I say cattle these people are agriculturalists, so they live off of the land. Farming is critical, and their animals are critical. So those two things go hand in hand. This flooding devastates both. It crushes their agricultural ability. And a lot of times they lose all their crops. Now there are nutrients that are deposited, but it's hard to plant when it's 2 feet underwater.
Right.
And you've got cattle that are literally drowning, and goats, which we have some photos that show the goats. So it's just been really difficult right now.
Let's go through some more of these pictures. This is a group in a boat going by a big old tree.
Yeah. So, this is like the rescue efforts, right? These are first responders coming in here, individuals just coming in to basically save these families, get them in their little boats and kind of, find maybe high ground or a place that's not as deep. And just to buy them a little more time. But as I said, sometimes it might be blue skies. They might not be getting any rain, but because Nepal or far to the northern part of India is getting pounded, that water is just making its way, and these rivers are just devastating as they crust.
Yeah, here's one that's just huge. It's a big river, and you can see again a big hut in the picture. Obviously devastating there.
Yeah. So again, these rivers, there's so many rivers that come out of northern India and Nepal, and all of the people are attracted to the water. So they're living. The villages literally are built right on top of these rivers, and so when there's flooding, it's not too many people that are unaffected. It hits it with 100% devastation.
This picture here, I don't know if it's a farm itself, and then kind of in the background, you can almost see some pictures on a little road or something.
Yeah. So, this just goes to show you that everything gets put underwater. In this part of India, it's relatively flat. And so when the water rises, there's not the high ground might be up in a tree or something like that. And so everybody is equally affected. It's like a hurricane that would be a direct hit on, a community. And we've seen it look like a bomb went off. And there was nothing that was In our area, we get these tornadoes or straight line winds, and you'll see house after house after house that's totally destroyed. There's not like, oh, there's one that's just kind of standing, but everybody is devastated. And that's what these floods do. The interesting thing about these areas, Rusty, is the states that they're in. So one is called Bihar, and the other one is called Uttar Pradesh. So these are massive population centers. Uttar Pradesh, if it were a country, it would be the 5th largest country in the world.
Wow.
It's a state, one state, over 240 million people. Bihar is about 100, and I think it's about 115 million. That would be like the 13th largest country. So these are massive population centers we're talking about. And the percent Christian is like 0.1, 0.2%. So these areas, it's all Hindus, it's all Muslims, and these are the people that are affected. That is why it's so incredibly strategic when you have Christian leaders and Christian churches, and all of the aid that World Mission does is delivered through the hands of churches, through the minority Christian leaders that are being persecuted by these people. And now they have the opportunity to love them and care for them in their greatest time of need.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think this is the last picture. It's like of an orange tent. What is significant about this tent? Anything?
So that's what we're trying to do. That's literally where we're at. The basic necessities of survival. You've got food, you've got clothing, and you've got shelter. Let's remember, any personal physical possession they have on this earth is gone. It's been destroyed by flooding. And so we're really trying to mobilize right now and get food, shelter, and clothing to them. And that's the shelter. I mean, as crazy as that might seem, like, really, you're going to do that? And they are so incredibly appreciative for those. And there might be a couple of families that are just under that. Just when the deluge of rain comes, it just kind of keeps them dry, keeps them out. It's not intended to be a long-term or a permanent shelter, but it keeps them dry. And let's remember, there's a lot of little ones. There's a lot of infants. There's a lot of children under the age of 3 that are being affected as well. And so for a nursing mom or for, children to be dry is really a critical thing right now. So that's what we're doing. We're mobilizing and sending resources right now. And that tent is part of the strategy.
Okay, so now is the time where we need folks' help. How do they do that? Because unfortunately, you don't have all the resources that you need, right?
No. No, that's for sure. It takes about $125 just to put it in context. That would feed a family of 7 for 2 weeks and give them some of this temporary shelter. So for, just over $100, we can do that for 2 weeks, which is huge because we just got to get into September. September is when the monsoon season will ease. And the quality of life will start to come back as the rivers recede. But we need to get those resources to them right now because we're talking about life and death we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people that are being affected by these. And so, there's great need. Every one of them have been affected. So every time we get $125, our website's worldmission.cc. You can just make a contribution there, $10, $50, $100, $10,000. And we'll make sure that it goes to help these Hindu and Muslim families.
And this is a urgent call out right now, correct? Yeah. Can you quickly on the map show us exactly the area you're talking about? You said it was northernmost India, correct?
So this is Nepal here, and then northern India in this area. This is the area right here that we're talking about. This is Bihar. And then Uttar Pradesh is right next to it. So Bihar is the one to the east, and Uttar Pradesh is just that consists of the city of Delhi is in Uttar Pradesh. And then you've got Bangladesh. 1/3 of this country right here, Bangladesh, is underwater right now.
Wow.
And then Bhutan is in there. You got Pakistan, Nepal, of course. Nepal is where a lot of this originates from, in those Himalaya mountains. And then, it comes down and that hits these lower lying countries.
Well, if you watched any of our shows from Bangladesh, and if you missed them, I would suggest going back and checking them out because it was bad enough then. I can only imagine how difficult life is now, where you can't even walk around, and they had little food then, and now it's all gone.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So go back and watch some of those videos. They were very inspirational and in some ways shocking, but you should do that. But again, I really would encourage you to look in your heart. I know it's a tough time. It is for everybody around the world. And I don't know if the Lord has blessed you and money's not so tight right now. And if that's the case, or think of the widow's mite in the story in the Bible. This is a group of people that truly, truly need your help. And this is a way for them to hear the word of God for the first time. And no organization that I know, and I know there's good organizations out there, but I can tell you, I've been there, I've seen it, I've watched them work. And the people at World Mission are the kind of people that will be great stewards of the gifts that you give them. So please go to worldmission.cc. That's worldmission.cc, not .com, .cc, and help wherever you can. Greg, wrap it up for us, would you?
Yeah, Rusty's absolutely right. All of us have no one has not been affected by what we're dealing with on a global level. But when you put this in the context of losing everything, and just what little on our end, maybe yes, it could be a sacrificial gift, but I can guarantee you the impact is life transforming, the impact that you're going to have. And we don't just hand these things off and say, God bless you. Treasures go, micro SD cards, they come to the knowledge of who Jesus is. And Jesus essentially is using you to accomplish his blessing on their life. So as you do that, we are so grateful. Going to the website, but share this podcast as well, the World Mission Update. What Rusty and I, every week we come together. We want to encourage you. We want to challenge you, hopefully make you a better informed follower of Jesus. And we certainly appreciate you joining us every week.
We do. We appreciate you very, very much. So please, again, go to worldmission.cc. Subscribe as well. Right now on YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find us. We sure appreciate you. May God bless you. We'll see you next time. I'm Rusty Humphries. He's Greg Kelley, and thank you for checking out the World Mission Update.